Hey folks, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Wednesday, July 10th. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, by popular request, we're going to do an update on Canopy growth. We're going to take a look at the chart. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. But this is not financial advice, as always. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and you should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. And full disclosure, I do own the stock. Also, you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And if you're new, you can subscribe, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As always, these crooks on Wall Street and these crooks in Congress are so predictable. I've been saying this for many years now, at least a couple of years. Ever since the Fed banned themselves from owning stocks in 2021, then we saw a huge 80% correction on a lot of names in the broader market as well. And then now we see today, published July 10th, senators strike bipartisan deal for a ban on stock trading by members of Congress. And SPY hit a new all-time high today, and we've got a cup and handle. We've got a monthly bull flag. We had an hourly bull flag. We're looking at least 600, a little north of 600 on SPY ETF. And like I said, this always happens, right? They would never ban themselves at the low because they're absolute crooks as far as I'm concerned. But we'll take a look at the CGC chart, and this is a very big top indicator, by the way. Now we just need the rate cuts to come, which I think is most likely going to happen in September. Now's the time to be cautious. Make sure to check out the video that I just posted on the S&P 500. How high will it go? And then also I mentioned in that video how to prepare for the market crash that's inevitably coming our way. So I haven't really looked at CGC in a little bit, so I wanted to come on and do a quick video, but this kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how I run through my analysis. So what I usually do is I draw some patterns. So this pattern I drew quite a while ago, so we'll follow up on this pattern now. So when I was originally scouting this, I was looking at MSOS ETF. So again, if you only hold CGC and you're not looking at the rest of the sector, you're not getting the full story, right? You're not getting the bigger picture. So MSOS confirmed the daily bear flag first. And if MSOS is the leader in the US, right, it tracks all the major US companies in MJ, then if it's doing it and names in Canada have yet to do it, then that increases the odds they're going to do it, right? And we actually hit that daily bear flag target perfectly on MSOS. So now we take a look at CGC and we say, okay, we have a similar pattern that is emerging here. We had our high, low, lower high, weak bounce, didn't get above the 0.32 fib. So anything under 801 was a potential for a daily bear flag. Once we lost support there at 677, that confirmed the daily bear flag. We also had a daily downtrend, so it was a bearish continuation pattern. So that increased the odds that it was going to play out. And we had an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on our way to daily oversold, which MSOS hit daily oversold as well. And this is the first time we've been daily oversold on CGC since March. So it had been a long time coming. A lot of other MJ names hadn't been oversold since October of 2023. So that was the most likely scenario, in my opinion, especially coming off of that high of April 30th. We knew to be expecting a pretty sizable correction whenever Canopy hit $14.92, right? That's factoring in post-split. So it's more like $1.50, but nonetheless, still a big move in a very short period of time. It was like 500%. And here we are down about 60% from that high. So if you're wondering when's a good idea, I had a couple of people in Pow Group community today ask me, what's a good entry on CGC? Well, look for daily oversold territory. But as of right now, it's not a terrible spot to start scaling in. I mean, we're down 60% from the high of from April 30th, which was when we had the DEA news, right? Where they agreed with HHS to reschedule it and to start that process. So now we're looking at this daily bear flag target of 535. So you just take your high to the low, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and then you get your measured move of about 535 USD here on the NASDAQ. Now, does it mean we have to hit that target? Absolutely not. But we have yet to hit daily oversold. So one would think that if everything else in the space has been hitting daily oversold territory, then that would increase the odds that CGC does it. But if you're looking for entries, not a bad idea to start a scale-in approach. You could, again, not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. This is not financial advice. But if you were to buy a little bit now, maybe a little bit around $6, maybe a little bit around $5.50, and another at $5 if we get there, right? That would be kind of the thought process with scaling in. And if you're holding for the long term, right, this channel isn't like, we do some day trading, we do some swing trading, mostly swing trading. But I don't like being a slave to the computer, and I don't need the extra money. I've got enough money that, I'm comfortable. I don't need to worry about it. So I'm not here for taco gains. I'm not here for, a $100 trade or $1,000 trade. I don't care about $1,000, right? I have enough money. I'm content. I've got more than I need. I live in abundance. I'm good with that. But those that trade, that's fine. If you want to day trade for a living, that's great. But I personally don't like being a slave to the computer. And you're dealing with AI bots and whatnot, and it just gets harder and harder. So I'd rather do swing trades, right? You're in control of your life. You're not a slave to the computer. That's just me. And then also investing, right? I'm not here for taco gains. I'm not here for $100 gain or $1,000 gain in a day. I could care less, right? I can make that elsewhere. So I could care less. Don't want to be a slave to the computer, and I don't want to. I'm not here for taco gains. I'm here for hundreds of thousands. I'm here for that 100x, that 1000x gains, right? That's why I invest in crypto. That's why I invest in MJ. I'm here for generational wealth, once in a lifetime opportunity, and this is only ever going to happen once, right? So that's my mindset. So if you're buying at $6, $5.50, $5, who cares, right? If this thing's going to go, back to all-time highs, which it very well could, right? You're looking at north of $500. But again, that's factoring in post-split. But again, I don't like looking at price. I'd rather look in percentages. So if we go from current levels to all-time high, that's an 87x. So $1,000 investment into $87,000, that's not bad, right? So how many $1,000 do you need to throw at it to change your life? Exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not here for, like I said, these taco gains. But again, I'm not knocking anybody that does day trading or makes a living that way, just not my cup of tea. But as of right now, on the weekly time frame, we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well. I just noticed that, so that adds more probability to the likelihood that we're probably going to see a little bit more downside and see that daily bear flag target of 535 met. We have support there at 609. And we hit 607, so we did pierce below that, and we have no weekly support down to 276. So that's a long ways away, and it looks like we could see a little bit more downside and one more leg down. But we're consolidating here on the monthly time frame. We're just looking for a monthly higher low, which we're forming the higher low. Now, how do we know it's a higher low? Because it's losing the low of the previous candle, but it's higher than this low. So we're still in a monthly downtrend. What's a downtrend? Lower highs and lower lows. What was this? Lower high, lower low. What was this? Lower high, lower low. Now we have our low, high. This was just a lower high compared to this high, but now we need the higher low and higher high. So again, a downtrend is lower highs and lower lows, and then an uptrend is higher lows and higher highs. So the high, higher low, higher high, right? In a downtrend, you've got your lower high and lower low. So you have your high, low, lower high, lower low, right? So we're just looking for this trend to reverse, and we've got a ton of room to do so, which I think, leading into, I've been saying for a while now, into the end of July, August, end of the comment period, we're going to see more than likely sideways action, but we should start to build momentum back to the upside. And then into September, October, we're going to absolutely skyrocket. In my opinion, we're going to probably see rescheduling to Schedule 3 happen before the elections. There was some FUD out that there was a GOP House committee that was trying to block it. Again, it'll probably be rescheduled before, I posted on X earlier today, it'll probably be rescheduled before they even pass anything in Congress, right? So in my opinion, it's all just FUD. Don't listen to it. It's going to get rescheduled to Schedule 3 or descheduled. It's one of those two, nothing else. So, you got the DEA, you have the entire DOJ, you have the entire HHS department, including the FDA, on board. This all was initiated from the executive branch in Biden. So it's going to happen. It's either Schedule 3 or descheduling. That's it. Nothing else. Don't listen to any of the FUD. There'll continue to be FUD. There'll be lawsuits. There'll be hearings. There'll be more FUD from opposition groups and whatnot, but don't listen to it. It's all BS. It's going to happen at the very least, Schedule 3. So now, if we form a higher low here, if we hold that low at 276, form a higher low, start the monthly bounce. How do we know we're bouncing on the monthly? We break the previous candle high. So if we break the previous monthly candle high, we start the monthly bounce. Then we look at resistance there at 1492. Break that, then monthly uptrend confirmed. We're still in a downtrend, right? Lower highs, lower lows. So technically, we're one of the weaker names in the space, but this could be one massive, just seeing this now, this could be one massive monthly inverse head and shoulders here. And it would look something like this. So let's see if bulls can hold this, and that would give us our monthly higher low, right? So this says we could drop as low as, $3, and that would more than likely be from some sort of broader market sell-off. I can't really see anything in the MJ space. Maybe they continue to ramp the FUD with these opposition groups and blocking rescheduling, but maybe the S&P 500 sees a pretty big correction, right? We know we're busting to new all-time highs, so we're definitely due for a healthy correction on the S&P. What if we were to pull back 5-10% on the S&P? That could drop us down to around that $4 mark, and that would give us a right shoulder in this inverse head and shoulders. But if it were to confirm, you take your low to the high of the neckline here, and then you move it out to your neckline, and it says we could be targeting roughly $113. But again, that's post-split, so that's more like $11.30, which isn't that big of a deal because we were once at, 50, $60. So this could happen, and we'll be watching for this inverse head and shoulders to form here. And in order to invalidate it, we would need to lose 276. But realistically, like 346, because then you wouldn't have the psychology of that right shoulder. So yeah, in order to negate it, you'd have to lose 346. You could probably drop to like 330, 320, still have it in. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. It's the psychology that remains. But yeah, as of right now, that's what I'll be looking for. In terms of the weekly time frame, we did have a stochastic and MACD bear cross, and we're seeing follow through. We saw quite a bit of follow through on the stochastic, but MACD is just following through now. So again, adding a little bit more confluence to the fact that we could see another leg down before a relief rally and a pretty big bounce. But yeah, we're starting to curl down on the 10-week moving average as well. We're also testing the 50 weekly, which I mentioned many times now for the last few videos I've done on CGC that we're probably going to test that. That was sitting at, let me just see here, the 50 weekly was sitting at 641, and we're at 633. So that's not good. We're dipping below it. If we close the candle below that this week, definitely going to see another leg down in my opinion. Daily time frame, we're also gearing up for a death cross, and we lost all of our 200-day, the 100 and the 50-day moving average, and we're bumping our head. It's confirming as resistance. So that is not good either. We have the 200-day at 638, and we closed at 633 again under that. So very weak at the moment. Would anticipate another leg down, but going in it there, and let me know your thoughts and opinions on the chart. If you agree with me, disagree with me, I always love hearing from you. But let me know if you're looking for entries. Personally, I'll be looking to add potentially under $6, maybe closer to that 550 area. I've got a pretty big bag as of right now, and I'll have to do another update video on my MJ portfolio with the percentage breakdown as well, probably in the second half here of 2024. All right, have a great night. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.